And good morning, YouTube. It's the Old Soldier coming at you from Robeson County, North Carolina, just south of the little old town of Parkton. TGIF to the 10th power. Yes. Thank God it is Friday. It has been an interesting week, to say the least. Bright side is I've got some paid time on my new job that I wasn't expecting. But anyway, next week I actually officially receive my students, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. Really am. But with that being said, tomorrow, if you are in the North Carolina southeast area, tomorrow between 9:30 and 3:30, come by Robeson Community College. We are holding what's called the North Carolina Book'em event. And it's a gathering of authors and writers of various literature, from nonfiction to fiction to poetry. Yours truly will have a table set up selling his books. There will be various workshops, if you will, where certain guest speakers will get up and speak, talk, or read from their publications. And it'll be a great time. So if you're in this area, come on down. We'd love to have you. And if you're one of my viewers and show up, just let me know. But anyway, throw that out there for those that are in my area, if that swing in there. But in other news, I was watching the video yesterday from Boy32. Great guy. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, you need to go over and subscribe to him. He's got some phenomenal videos on firearms, tips, building, construction, shooting, you name it. But he's also, like me, a very avid supporter of the Second Amendment and values those rights dearly. And I didn't get a chance to watch the whole video, but what I did watch of it was enough to let me know about those lunatics that seem to think that guns are bad. No. And they seem to think guns are illegal. No. Your Second Amendment is your right to bear arms. But part of it, apparently, and I don't have all the details on this, so bear with that. But usually Boy32 is spot on with his content. And he was talking about that dude that thinks he's Hispanic was really Irish, goes by the name of Beto. Beto O'Rourke, Irish name. Go figure. Talking about trying to get credit card companies to stop allowing people who have credit cards to purchase firearms. That, my friends, is a drastic and desperate attempt by the left. But not only that, it's a violation of free enterprise practice. Telling me, a consumer, that I cannot use a financial instrument, i.e. a credit card, to purchase a good or service. Well, if that's the case, how about we ban banks from loaning people to buy cars, Mr. O'Rourke? How about we have banks stop loaning people money to buy houses, Mr. O'Rourke? Why don't we just dictate what everybody ought to do and make a law that if they violate these rules, they go to jail for life, Mr. O'Rourke. Now, does everybody understand how stupid all that sounds? But that's the desperate measures that these anti-gunners are wanting to go to take to try and keep people from buying firearms. They're already put pressure on one of the largest retailers in the United States, Walmart. So much so that Walmart has capitulated, which I hope the stockholders on their next meeting vote the CEO out and reverse that policy. And put somebody in there that won't cave into political pressure. But they figure they can't get a law that will outright ban firearms. Now their strategy, and mark my words, boys and girls and boys, is that their strategy is going to be to go in and cripple the commerce that allows for the exchange of buying and selling firearms and firearms related products and accessories. See, they can't get their way legislatively, but they believe they can put enough pressure on retail entities, and in some cases wholesale entities, from allowing the private citizenry to purchase their products. Okay. Now, something similar, if you will. I say similar, but it goes. How do I phrase this? It was a time in our history that the government of the United States thought they could get away with telling the people what they could and could not consume, i.e. alcohol. So an amendment was passed. It was called the Prohibition Amendment. Part of that was, basically ban the sale and purchase of alcohol. Well, what did the American people do? They reverted to underground speakeasies, bars, bootleggers. People would run to Canada and sneak across the border with Canadian alcohol. Okay? Oh, by the way, John F. Kennedy's dad made his fortune as a rum runner. You can't say that, old soldier. The Kennedys are almost royalty. Well, do your history. Man made a fortune running alcohol from the Caribbean. Truth. And what the United States found out is they could not curtail the sale or purchase or consumption of alcohol. So eventually they had to lift the prohibition. And it all really stemmed from the fact that they wanted to put an extreme tax on things. And people were like, yeah, no. But that will be these dipsticks' measure is we'll put pressure on the commercial entities to stop selling. And oh, by the way, for the ones that still do, we will impose taxes, the likes of which they've never seen, and we'll force them out of business. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. And the whole point of this, folks, is that if they take one right away, the government will take multiple rights away. Don't ask anybody that lives in Great Britain. It's just stupid there and now. You can't own a knife. And you're saying to yourself, well, that's different over there. Well, yes and no. The government basically went and told people they couldn't have guns. Every nation that has so-called strong gun laws also has other problems. It snowballs is what I'm getting at, folks. And I can't stand the one where people say, why does that person need all those guns? Okay. I can turn around and say, why do people need all those cars? Or people collect cars? Better yet, people that collect antique swords. Why do they need all those swords? Oh, hey, here we go. Why does he need all those baseball cards? Anti-gunners need to stop telling us what we can and cannot have. It's none of their darn business. If I want to go buy 10 shotguns, that's my business. Okay? If I want to wear hot pink and fluorescent orange clothes, that's my business. Not that I would, folks. But, you know, it's kind of like property ownership in a sense. You buy a house somewhere, and now your neighbor shows up. Your neighbor doesn't like the fact that you got pecan trees in your yard. He tells you need to take those down. Well, are my pecan trees disturbing your yard, your home? Well, I just don't like how they look. Oh, because you don't like how they look, I should take them down. Yeah, no. Now, if my pecan trees, the limbs and branches are crossing over the property line into your property, by all means, I'll comply. I'll trim them back. Okay. So now I bring in a ton of manure and I have it piled right in my front yard. You can't have that pile of manure in your front yard. Who says? I say, well, why? It stinks. Okay, it stinks. I'm going to spread it in my yard to fertilize my yard. Well, we don't like the smell of it. Well, it's natural. It's organic. The smell will go away. Well, they've got other fertilizers at the store that don't stink. Well, put them in your yard. The point I'm getting at is, if you buy and own something, that's your business, your right. The only time it should become an issue is if it starts to infringe on the rights of others. So if I own 100 guns or if I own one, if I'm not bothering you, don't come bother me about telling me I can't have it. Because when you do, I'm going to come back at you tenfold. Anyway, folks, I know that's 2 days of me ranting and raving on about a whole bunch of stuff, but it's been in the news. These things are going on, and it's a challenge to our individual rights and liberties. You know, a little cotton mouth. But we have to stand up and tell people we've had enough of their crap. You know, I'm not going to go downtown and parade around with all my firearms. You know, that's just inviting an argument. But at the same token, I might walk downtown with a firearm on my hip under the cover of a jacket, and it's nobody's business but mine. And I do so to protect myself, my family, and my property. God forbid I ever have to do that. The last thing I'd ever want to do is take another human life. I've seen enough death. But rest assured, you threaten my family, you threaten me, you'll meet the business end. And that is why we need to protect our right to bear arms. Because as things are going, if this nation does not reverse a portion of its course, if our nation does not stand united to protect all of our rights, we will slowly lose, and maybe even quickly lose, many of them by a small minority crowd of people delivering false, misleading, and outright lying narratives to the people. And sadly right now, they control about 98% of all the major media outlets. It's hard to find the truth of a situation anymore without them putting a twist, a spin, or a narrative on it. Just like when Walmart CEO made his announcement the other day, and for some reason I was watching CBS and the nightly news come on, and the first words out of their anchor that night was Walmart bans the carrying of firearms on their premises. It's not what the man said, but you see that twist that they already put on it. They want you to think that Walmart has stated you cannot carry a firearm in their store, period. He stated banning open carrying of firearms in their facilities. Did not say anything about concealed carry. But you can see the twist and the spin on it. Just like when they put them idiot imbeciles up there that don't know how to describe a rifle from a shotgun. One that got me was years back when they had that retired, I think he was in the Air Force, might have been Army, I don't know, but you know, couldn't even hit the broadside of a barn with an M16 rifle. Talking about how nobody should have these but the military, and how this, that, and the other. Or that other dipstick imbecile reporter about, oh my God, I got PTSD because I shot a rifle. You know, somebody right there needs to tell that man to grow up and be an adult. Yeah, all these false narratives. Anyway, folks, I have ranted on far too long again this morning. But I hope everybody has a great Friday, a wonderful weekend. I would ask you to remember the charities that I'd ask you to support: Pin Up for Veterans, Valor for Vets, TunnelsToTowers.org. They can't do the things they do without your help, folks. Vendors, Money Quick Pawn on Rayford Road here in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area. Robert's Custom Woodworks, and the Unsung Patriot. And last but not least, myself. If you'll go to Amazon and buy one or two of my books, I'd greatly appreciate it. But until then, I'll try to get one out tomorrow. It depends on how long this event runs. And I don't know, I might even video while I'm at the event. So we'll see. But until tomorrow, God bless, take care. Sold Soldier out.